Horns up and welcome to a brand new episode of Headbanger's Kitchen. I just couldn't let Thai food month end without doing a Tom Yum soup recipe. After all, it's one of the most well-known and popular Thai food dishes. And did you even know there were two versions of Tom Yum? One is a clear soup and one is a creamy version where they use evaporated milk and a chili paste in it. And we're going to be making that version today, and we're going to be making it with prawns. So we're making Tom Yum Gung meaning prawns. Anyway, enough jibber jabber, let's get cooking. So the first thing I'm going to do is prep the shrimp, and what you want to do is snap the head away from the body, and then you want to peel the shell off the body. The next thing you have to do is get rid of this little vein that runs through it. Now I saw a trick on the internet of using a toothpick to get it out, but I was rather unsuccessful in doing that, so I managed to just clean it any which way. Of course, you can ask your fishmonger to clean the prawns and give it to you, but make sure you ask him to give you the head and the shells as well. We're going to be using those to make a delicious stock, which is essential to the seafood flavor in the soup. So anyway, I continued cleaning the prawns, and you know what guys, this is the first time I'm actually cleaning prawns myself. Yep, normally I have a fishmonger who does it, but today I said just give me the prawns as they are and I'll do it myself. Anyway, once the prawns are clean, it's time to get on to the next step. Now I'm going to get my wok on the stove and I'm going to heat up some oil. So you can use some coconut oil for this, or you could use some olive oil or even some bacon fat, whatever suits your fancy. And then in go the prawn heads and the prawn shells. And I'm going to season them with some salt. This will hopefully just help bring out the flavor of the prawns. And then of course give it all a good mix, and you want to cook this on a medium to high heat and extract all that flavor from the prawn heads and the shells. So you want to cook it and you will see it start to change color. You will see some brown bits at the bottom of your pan called the fond, which you cannot see in my wok because it's black. But anyway, cook those prawn heads and shells, and once they've turned a different color, you see some fond at the bottom of your pan. Then, well, just add in some water, and I'm going to add in about 1 liter of water. And of course, give it all a good mix. Make sure that you are scraping the bottom of the wok or the pan that you're cooking in, so that you get all that fond off the pan and that flavor goes into the stock. Anyway, now you just want to let it come up to a boil almost. And once it does that, you want to turn down the heat and cover it and cook it for 10 to 15 minutes. So while the prawns are bubbling away, we're going to prep our other ingredients, and I'm going to take some galangal and just chop it up into nice rounds. You need about 7 or 8 pieces of it. Then I'm going to take the bottom part of my lemongrass and just bash it with either a rolling pin or a mortar and pestle, well, the pestle of the mortar and pestle, so that you release all the flavors. Then you can just cut it into big pieces. And I'm also going to take a whole bunch of kaffir lime leaves and I'm just going to roughly tear them. Now all this that you're doing helps to release the flavor and the aroma and the fragrance. And I'm going to take 2 limes and juice them, because this soup has a sour flavor which comes from the lime juice. And of course you can use more or less lime juice based on how sour you like your soup. So after about 10 minutes of cooking, our stock looks ready. Now I'm just going to fish out the heads and the shells with a slotted spoon and set them aside. And then into this goes all our aromatics. So in goes the lemongrass, in goes the galangal, in go the kaffir lime leaves, and then I'm going to throw in some Thai bird's eye chilies and I'm going to just cut them roughly. And then you're going to give it all a good mix. You're going to let this come up to a boil once again, and once it starts bubbling, you're going to turn the heat down, cover it and let it cook for about 10 minutes. Now while that's happening, I'm just going to open up this Thai chili paste that I bought especially for this recipe, because this is an essential ingredient. And yeah, it's some kind of a chili paste in oil, and oh man, that looks dangerous. But it's not, trust me. Anyway, after about 10 minutes of cooking, we're going to lift that lid up, and all the flavors should be well infused. And then in goes that chili paste, about 2 tablespoons of it. Hey folks, so this chili paste is kind of an essential ingredient for this soup to taste really authentic. I mean, you can skip it, but at the end of the day, it's not going to taste like an authentic Tom Yum then. And if you want to know where to purchase this, I'll leave a link in the blog post on headbangerskitchen.com. And I also got to give you fair warning that this chili paste does contain sugar. So it is going to add some carbs to the soup. Not too many hopefully, because we use a small amount over a large quantity of soup. So it's your call whether you want to use it or not. And I think I could make my own version, given that apart from the sugar, it's just fish sauce, peanuts, chilies, garlic and shallots. So maybe I could do a recipe for like a Thai style chili paste. You let me know in the comments below. And then in goes some heavy whipping cream. And you want to give it all a good mix. Now my cream looks a little bit curdled because I'm using an Indian brand which tends to split when heated up. But if you live in America or the UK, your heavy whipping cream is not going to split, and yeah, just keep going as it is. It doesn't matter. Now folks, the original recipe calls for evaporated milk, but I use the heavy whipping cream because evaporated milk is not really keto, and also we'll get some good fats from the heavy whipping cream. I'm also going to throw in some fish sauce. This is what is going to season the soup. You can also just add salt. Now I'm going to throw in some oyster mushrooms and I'm just going to roughly tear them. Anyway, give it all a good mix now, and we're going to cover it and cook it for another 5 minutes. After about 5 minutes, it's time to end this madness, and we're going to do that by throwing in the prawns into the soup. And those prawns are literally going to take a minute or a minute and a half to cook. And while that's happening, I'm just going to chop some cilantro right into that soup using a scissor. Of course, you can use your cutting board and knife, no problem. Anyway, give it all another final good mix. We're going to turn off the heat, and now we're going to finish it with our lime juice. And of course, you have to give it another stir. You got to taste the soup, and mine needed a little more salt, so I added some in, and that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, our Tom Yum Gung is ready, the creamy version. Anyway, enough jibber jabber, time to taste. Alright folks, so it's time to taste the Tom Yum soup, and look who's back. It's my dad, Mickey Makija.
He doesn't have too many choices for tasters, and I just love this role in my life, tasting food. But this is the first time I'm doing a soup. Let's see what it's all about.
No, this is not the first time he's doing a soup. He was on the broccoli and cheese soup recipe, if you guys remember. Or if you don't, click here on the I button and watch that episode. But yeah, dig in, Dad.
It's a Tom Yum soup.
Supposed to be spicy.
It has a very oriental flavor for sure. There's this lovely mushroom that I think I'm going to be eating.
Oyster mushroom.
Oyster mushroom.
That lime juice is just so refreshing. But you know what? It's not spicy at all.
No, it's not.
I put a whole bunch of that chili paste, which by the way is actually is fairly like mild and sweetish almost. And
look what I found. A whole prawn with the tail.
oh yeah. Oh yum.
It's got a crunch, it's got a bite, and the oriental flavor goes with it. There's still a little left in the tail. I'll go for this later. Right now, one more spoon.
So anyway, I think my father has given it the thumbs up, and I hope you guys are going to make this Tom Yum Gung at home. Gung means prawn, by the way, in Thai.
I thought you were abusing me.
No, I wasn't. Anyway, enough jibber jabber from the two of us. We will see you on the next episode of Headbanger's Kitchen. Cheers and keep cooking.
Chili time.
Is it spicy? But when you cut it and put it in, it's not that spicy.
You try it.
I'm not trying it. But the soup is not spicy, which is a good thing.
It's not.
Anyway, cool. And I have to be honest, this does actually contain sugar. So fair